All right, I am headed out to my client's house. She's out of town for a little bit and she wanted me to check on her garden. So it's mid-November and, you know, it's not very common that gardens are going fantastically this time of year. So let's just head over there and see. So I actually met Michelle through some mutual friends, and she started watching my YouTube channel, and she was like, I want to learn how to grow veggies. And she's such a devout little student, did so amazingly, and she decided she wanted me to design an enclosure for her. So this is what I designed for her, and this is where all of her veggies are growing. Also have some fruit trees, avocado out here. These are gonna be planted in an orchard down the hill, but the majority of the crops are right in here, and it's very exciting. So let's see what we got going on. Things are looking okay for winter, you know, because it's tough to get things really growing. This looks like some corn. Amazing. We even have some peppers over here. So, you know, you can get some stuff. It's Southern California. You can get some stuff to grow here. These are cabbages. Here's some better ones. Look at that. Nice. Typical season in Southern California for the brassica crops. We also have onions, which can kind of be in the ground over the winter as well. So those will be nice and big in the spring. We kept those planted along the side. We got sweet potatoes. A little bit of asparagus in there in the back. Typically these get harvested soon, but we got them in the ground late, so I'm just gonna let them hang out for a bit. This is a bed that we had an issue with spider mite, and we decided to leave. This is the typical marking of a spider mite. So if you see a leaf that looks like this, probably take it out because they do spread. And that's what I'm gonna do now. We left this in because we sprayed it with a neem oil that's, you know, supposed to kind of take care of these guys, and it didn't really take care of it. Oh, but we got one bean. Maybe I'll eat that for lunch. So I'm gonna take this out now because it's just not recovering. And I'm just gonna do a little work like this around here today. Trying to just make sure that everything stays as healthy as possible in here. Got some kale. It was getting nibbled a little bit, but you know, I'll do a little spray on here and hopefully that will take care of anything that's eating this. Swiss chard, I think these are beets. Something again was nibbling on the leaves of the beets, but the beets themselves underground seem okay. So spray these with neem oil, try to keep away the nibblers and see how we do. Some onions in here that we're keeping going because they're still growing. Even an eggplant over here, which doesn't seem super healthy, but that's a cute little eggplant, isn't it? A little bit of the traditional markings of spider mites. I'm also noticing tiny little webby looking things, which is also a sign of spider mites. So I'm gonna spray this with some neem oil, but it is producing, and I just was surprised. I lifted this up and boom, there's a nice big eggplant there, another one here, and another little one right here. They are still kicking here in Southern California. So I'm gonna try to spray this guy, bolster him against these spider mites. First, I'm gonna rinse it off with some water. Then I'm gonna spray it with, let's see, what do we have here? I think it's the neem oil that's gonna be the best. Yeah, so this is, you can see it says miticide right here. So that's one of the things that it gets rid of is spider mite. This is a all-natural product, so I highly recommend it for most of your pest management needs. And I'm also gonna stake that. You can see we have some nice supports that were here that we used earlier for tomatoes, and then we folded them up all nicely so that they were organized, and I'm now going to put this inside here. Voila! So it's pretty hard to stake things when they're already kind of mature and growing. You can accidentally snap leaves and stems while you're situating it. So it's very important to try to get these systems in place when the plants are small and then allow them to grow into them. But you know, you do what you can. And I think this guy looks a lot better here and is gonna be a lot happier. So let me just get spraying this and move on to the next. First, I'm spraying the leaves down with my hose, which just removes the spider mites from the plant. And then while it's dripping dry, I get a little thinning in my brassica patch before I return and spray the entire plant with neem oil, which hopefully prevents those mites from returning to the plant. I'm very excited about these radish starts that are here. I want to point out that we do have very close seedlings. We have a lot like grouped together because what I do is I plant like 2 to 3 seeds in each hole. Sometimes you don't get 100% germination. So you want to plant more just in case. And then at this point is exactly when it's time to thin them, meaning you choose the best of the grouping and you pull the other ones out. How do you choose the poor little seedling that is going to get weeded out? There's a couple of schools of thought. I like to stick to the smallest gets plucked out first because you want to choose, you want to allow the most vigorous of the group to continue its growth. So I pluck out the smallest one first. So I'm going to pluck out the 2 smallest ones. Now I am left with this one, and it might look the same height as this one. It's very close. This one seems a little taller from my perspective than this one. However, this one is really, really close to this one. And this one has about a ½ inch away from it. I have grown beets enough to know that they can kind of push each other apart. I think 3 in a grouping is too many, but 2 might not be so bad. So I'm actually going to take this one because I'm trying to make enough room for the bigger one. It's not super scientific. There's a lot of ways to think about it, but that's just kind of how I've gone about it. And it usually works pretty well. Here's some kale that's getting seriously nibbled. Oops, I just broke that one. I'm just gonna take it off because it was getting nibbled anyway. Look at that, like half of this leaf is gone. And sometimes it's hard to tell what is eating your leaves. One of the most popular things can be grasshoppers, but that's not usually in the fall. That's more of a spring, summer pest. You can get slugs and snails, but they're not going to be eating the top of the leaf like that. They're going to be eating from the bottom, stuff that's near the ground that they can reach. There's a lot of different chewing bugs that like to chew on leaves. In order to just cover our bases, we want to make sure that these leaves are not tasty at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray one of my favorite products, hot pepper wax animal repellent, onto these leaves. This one is supposed to repel actual like vertebrate pests, things like you can see on the bottle, rabbits and tree squirrels, but hot pepper wax also repels a lot of insects. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to the leaves pretty liberally. And basically it's like makes it super spicy. So if they try to eat this, they are going to be unpleasantly surprised because they probably weren't expecting a Southern Thai dish. The one thing about this stuff is that it's only good when it's on there. That means if it rains or if you have like sprinkle irrigation as opposed to drip irrigation, it's going to wash off and it won't be effective. So you need to reapply after rain. And if you have sprinklers, it's really not gonna help you much, but it's a great product. Isn't this a beautiful enclosure? I mean, I'm a little biased, but this is a magical, magical place. And I am so honored to be able to bring this to clients whenever they need it, to fulfill their home gardening fantasies. So be sure to let me know if you want one of your own and we can make that happen. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in as always. Have a great week. Remember to like and subscribe. You guys are the best. Thanks a lot. See you next time.